That had been nearly 2 months ago. Natalie flicked on the kettle and rolled up the blind. The late afternoon sunlight streamed in from the side veranda, highlighting the golden honey glow of the solid pine cupboards, as well as the crumbs and smudges on the worn Laminex bench left by whatever Milt and Bree had eaten for lunch. She turned away from the mess and back to the window and looked out over her patch of brightly coloured gerbers and the hedge of rosemary, beyond the rusting wire fence and the barren outer yard towards the sheds. There'd been no dogs to greet her, and Milt's ute wasn't anywhere to be seen as she'd driven in. He and Bree must still be off in a paddock somewhere. Behind her, the house phone rang. She strode across the kitchen to the desk in the corner and plucked the handset from the cradle. "Hello, Natalie speaking. Terry Porter here from Landmark Agricultural Services. Is Milt available?" Natalie took a breath. She'd known Terry for 10 years, and what Landmark was at least twice as long, but he was always so formal on the phone. "Hello, Terry. Milt's not in yet. Can I help? When will he be home?" Natalie gritted her teeth and glanced at the clock. "Not for a few more hours, I expect." "I've left a message on his mobile." "He'll get it when he's back in range then. Do you want to leave a message with me?" "Just get him to call me back. Thanks, Natalie." The line went dead. Natalie shook her head as she replaced the handset. Terry always insisted on speaking to Milt, and the two of them would play phone chasey for days. If only he trusted the woman of the house with a simple message, it would save a lot of trouble. She wrote a note on the whiteboard on the wall beside the desk and busied herself putting away the groceries, turning her thoughts to what she might cook. Laura hadn't been home for such a long time. Natalie wanted to make some of her favourites. Partway through wiping down the bench, she paused. Laura had said, "See you Thursday." That was a day earlier than usual. She had a full-time job at a city hairdresser. Her long hours earned her the odd Friday afternoon and weekend off. The wavering note in Laura's voice replayed in her head, but she pushed it away. If there was something wrong, Natalie would find out all about it on Thursday. She fed the cat and stacked the small pile of mail, all envelopes with windows, between the vase and Milt's list. Then, with a cup of tea in hand, she settled at the kitchen table, her basket on the floor and the stack of exercise books in a pile beside her. The table was a big one, and yet they'd filled it. She glanced around, picturing her 3 girls sitting at the solid pine top doing their homework or playing cards, talking about their day, squabbling and laughing. Milt's mum Olive presiding over them as if she was mistress of the manor, while Natalie cooked dinner for them all, and her father-in-law Clem, with his slow nod and twinkling smile, sat at the head of the table, taking it all in. Dear Clem. Perhaps that was why she was feeling a little melancholy. She'd realised when she'd looked at the calendar this morning that a year had gone by since he'd died. They'd had a special bond, not father and daughter, but very good friends. She wondered if Milt remembered the date. Neither of them had said anything. A year ago today, Milt had been the one to find his father sitting on the side veranda in his old wicker chair, just resting his eyes, as he liked to say when he dozed off. Only this time his eyes were permanently closed, never to rest his kindly gaze on any of them again. Milt had been a rock for his mother, for all of them, but when they were in bed after the long days of dealing with the sorrow and the quagmire of paperwork, Natalie would hold him close while his silent tears washed his cheeks. They didn't talk about it. It wasn't Milt's way to talk openly about his feelings, but she knew he'd been hurting badly. She wondered if he still had the unexpected stabs of memory, the surge of loss that she did from time to time. She pushed back from her chair, the exercise books unopened, and looked around her neat kitchen. She had a sudden urge to bake. Even though her freezer was full of food ready for the extra mouths to be fed during lamb tailing, she knew Laura would appreciate some fresh home-baked goodies. Natalie went to the little desk in the corner of the kitchen and rummaged through her shelf of cookbooks. She had a mind to make a caramel shortbread slice. The recipe, a favourite of Laura's, was in a Church Ladies' Guild compilation crammed with old favourites. When it wasn't among the cookbooks on the shelf above, she pulled open the drawer below. It came part way out, then jammed. She tugged to no avail, then reached in and felt something stuck at the back.